Good evening, everyone. I'm Katie Rivera, Board Secretary of New Jersey Public Health Innovation Political Action Committee. You know us as NJPHIPAC. I am joined tonight with Lori Don Diego, our board treasurer. Both Lori and we are founding members and part of a team of 7 board directors that make up NJPHIPAC. We couldn't be more excited to be coming live once again from our PAC Chat StreamYard studio to bring to you the 2023 primary endorsement of LD4 Republican candidates Denise Gonzalez for Assembly, Nick DeSilvio for Senate, and Michael Clark for Assembly. If this is your first time tuning into the PAC Chat, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Since we are discussing endorsements today, I just want to make one note for our viewers that the NJPHIPAC endorsement process was developed with a set of standards and integrity. Every endorsement we make requires at minimum that the candidate complete and submit the NJPHIPAC survey and participate in an in-depth interview with the board of directors. Other factors and considerations are prior voting records of the candidate, if there are any to consider, what the candidate's public positions or statements on matters that affect our mission are, and any other variables. Ultimately, the NJPHIPAC standards are to endorse candidates on both sides of the aisle with transparency, integrity, and measurement without bias, so that when you see the NJPHIPAC Gold Seal endorsement, the New Jersey voter can be confident that this is the best candidate for our collective mission to protect and preserve health freedom here in the state. So without further ado, I now have the pleasure of introducing LD4 Republican candidates who are on. Welcome. Welcome, Denise, Michael, and Nick, and thank you for joining us.
How are you?
We are good. I know 8 p.m. on a Friday.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thanks so much, Nick. You guys are troopers. 8 p.m. on a Friday, I was just going to say, we understand your dedication. So thank you for meeting with us tonight.
You're welcome.
On behalf of the PAC board, we want to extend our congratulations to you all on this endorsement, and thank you for outwardly taking a stand on these important issues.
So we're going to jump right in. It's been great, getting to know you. And Denise, it's very unusual to have one of us, an old timer, to our issue, and running. That's amazing. And I want to thank you guys for being on with us. So first, do you want to introduce yourselves and tell us about who you are, what you're good at, how you make a living, and who loves you or calls you mom and dad? All right, I'm going to start with Denise. Oh, you're muted. Oh, there you go.
Sure. Hi, my name is Denise Gonzalez. I am the vice chair of the Gloucester Township Municipal Republican Committee. I am a Marine Corps veteran. I served during the Gulf War era. I am a mother of 2 small children, and those 2 small people call me mom. My daughter is Jenny. She's 12. My son is Danny. He is 8. And they are the reason why I'm doing this 100%.
That's awesome. Thank you. Nick?
How you doing? I just want to thank you guys for having me here tonight. It's a pleasure getting your endorsement. And I do have to say that leaving the interview process, I didn't feel too confident. So I'm glad that you guys, picked us. We won't let you down. A little bit about myself. My name's Nick DeSilvio. I'm running for Senate, and can you believe this? in Legislative District 4. I am a retired electrician. Before that, I was in the service. I was in the Navy. I fought during Desert Storm. I was on the Board of Education, my local Board of Education, for 6 years. And it just so happened during that 6-year time,
Can everyone hear me?
Say again?
Was everyone able to hear me?
Oh, yes.
Yep. Yeah, I think like the service is a little shoddy, but it's okay. We have a good blooper with Nick dropping his phone and the camera going wild. So that'll make for some good laughter. We might be able to use that in one of our blooper videos as well. So thanks, Nick. Keep going. You left off at the Navy. Keep going.
Okay, I was in the I was on the school board, my local school board, for 6 years, in which we actually voted down a state mandated policy which mandated vaccinations for teachers and required masks for students. So we actually voted that down. And after that, for the past year, I have been a Gloucester County Commissioner. And we've saved the taxpayers a ton of money this year because me and my running mate have forced a 0% tax increase. That's the first time in a long time that Gloucester County hasn't raised taxes. So I'm not really patting myself on the back. It's just that I guess I was just a pain in the butt. I complained so much that they just listened. So I am a father of 3 children. One of them is a special needs child. And I also have a stepdaughter who is 19 years old. And I have a son who's 7. And I have a lovely wife who's also what is proud to be one of your mama bears from 2019. So, and my son who's 7 years old, I'm 59. So do the math. Yeah, I was 50 something when I had my son. So that's pretty much it. Thank you again for the invitation here, and I'll take any questions that you have for me right now.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And I'm glad to hear your wife was with us too.
I just want to apologize. I lost a connection and everything froze up. So I didn't hang up or anything. I'm still here.
No, don't worry.
Sorry about that. I'm in my truck and I was still door knocking. And I know I should have been home to do this, but I'm sorry if I'm still here.
Listen, get the knocks in, all right? We'll deal with it. Michael, you want to tell us about yourself? Okay. It looks like you may be having connection trouble.
Okay.
Who wants to tell us about Mike? No, we'll go to the next one and we'll get him when he comes back on. So why are you running? What's your why? And what does being a legislator mean to you? Denise, you can go first if you want. All right, Nick.
Well, we're gonna take Nick off of
Maybe.
mute. There we go.
Maybe somebody can give you an answer.
Yeah, come on.
I'm running to improve the atmosphere of Legislative District 4. I'm also running to be a true public servant for my constituents who live in Legislative District 4. I'm also running to improve your tax rate. And I'm also here to improve the possibly and hopefully, if I can help, the curriculums in school, and to also improve the law enforcement community. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Those are good goals. Mike, you want to tell us about yourself?
Mike's taking it into nature. He's out of his car. Let's see if this helps with
I'm
the service.
I'm trying to find better service. I don't know if it's helping at all, but we're gonna keep trying. So
Maybe go off camera and
Yeah, try going off camera. Maybe let's see. But then talk to us. Let's see if that helps with the slurring.
any better?
Yeah, that's better.
No camera. Okay, well, we'll try it out, and you yell at me if I should stop. But my name is Michael Clark. I'm running for assembly here in LD4. And actually the first time I've ever run for office. What I do is I'm a youth pastor, and I'm a Christian school history teacher, and I'm the athletic director. So the things that I do all revolve around teenagers. And so I work for the church, I work for the school. I really love politics because of the crazy stuff that's going on in our church, especially targeting our young people. And so I deal with them on the spiritual side at church. Now I'm wanting to take that a little bit further and do it on the government side as well. So that's a little bit about me. I don't have anyone that calls me dad. I have 2 dogs, and I'm an uncle to 2 new babies here in the last 3 months, but no kids of my own yet.
And okay, so we'll go to the next one. Mike, we'll continue with you. When did health freedom come onto your radar, and when did it become important to you?
Sure. So our church has always been involved in government as much as we can be. And so when the whole vaccine mandate thing came up a few years ago, I was 20 years old, and that was something that was coming up. And obviously, as a younger person, I wasn't in the position of a parent, but we ended up sending bus loads of moms and dads to Trenton to protest the vaccine bill. And so that was really the first time in my life where I have seen and where we have personally gotten involved in the medical freedom movement, was the whole vaccine bill. And I think a lot of people would say that that was a big one recently. And so our church was very involved, and we as individuals got involved as well at that time.
Thank you. And Denise, you want to speak to it? When did health freedom come onto your radar?
Sure. Once again, I'm in a very remote area where I'm door knocking. I'm so sorry. I keep losing the signal. What prompted me to get into medical freedom? Basically, I had injuries right after I had my daughter from a flu shot. And I didn't realize some of the symptoms that were occurring throughout my life, a lot of like rheumatoid things, a lot of autoimmune issues were a result of that. So I didn't really do my due diligence until years later, until I had my daughter, and she consequently had an adverse reaction to one of her vaccines. So that's at that point is when I started to do my research, and I started to check into what happened, and then I started to find groups and other people and other children that basically have had the same or similar reactions. And I just opened up like this big Pandora box and fell through this rabbit hole, and realized that adverse reactions are not 1 in a million, like the CDC and a lot of people say. And I really, my eyes were open from that point, and I realized there's more to be had here. And I just started to do more research, and I basically found your movement, and I found a lot of you ladies and the mama bears and the papa bears as well. And I decided from that point on that I was going to do more research and do more advocacy in this area. After my daughter's reaction, after my reaction, and I've been there ever since. This was in I started in the movement in 2013. or 2012, actually. That's when I found out that or actually, no, even before that, I was pregnant with my daughter. So that was 2010, actually. So I've been active in the movement and in the trenches with all the mama bears and all the papa bears ever since then. I haven't stopped and I will not stop. And I plan on taking all of that advocacy and all of that energy into the legislature, working with, Michael Clark as my colleague in the assembly and my senator, obviously, which will be Nick DeSilvio. And we look forward to continuing our advocacy with, the entire legislature, and basically continuing protecting parental rights and our freedoms.
Thank you. Nick, tell us about your relationship with health freedom. When did you start?
It actually started when my son was a little kid. I really wasn't aware of the adverse effects that some vaccinations cause. And then me and my wife watched this movie called Vaxxed. And it kind of like opened my eyes a little bit. The doctor on that, I remember the doctor on that movie saying, like, statistically, the reactions drop dramatically past the age of 3, and if the MMR shot was given individually. So, I said, well, I thought to myself, well, they'd give individual shots if you asked for it. Well, no, they don't do that. So it kind of like made me think, what's going on here? They're just forcing some kind of agenda here with just one MMR shot. So that's kind of like when my eyes started opening up. And then shortly after that, the legislature was getting together to try to get rid of the religious exemption, which kind of concerned me because we had that religious exemption kind of like in our back pocket that we could use if we do believe in medical freedom, that we have the option of not getting a vaccination for our children. So I'm so happy that it was not voted down, and that, we as a community, we fought it. And I watched the change before my very eyes, how like inspired people can get together in one area and actually change the outcome of a vote. And it was great to see. So.
Thank you. Yeah, we hear that a lot, even from current legislators, that really spoke to them. It invigorated them, that
Right.
our fight. They're like, people never really watched us, knew our names, knew what we did. And then all of a sudden we have eyes on us. A few of them even said, oh yeah, I made sure I dressed better. And it just made me laugh because,
it was unbelievable.
For me, it's true. I had no idea who senators were, but
right.
Here we are.
True. Very true. Yeah.
So Nick, I'll stay with you. Why is the LD4 race so important here in New Jersey?
Well, let's talk about medical freedom, for example. You have 3 individuals who are personally involved in this. We have personal stories about it. I think that our primary opponents, and even once we make it past the primary, our general opponents, they will not have the experience or the how do I say this? The intuition that we have right now. They probably won't care, honestly, but it's something that's always on the back burner of my mind. And I think that LD4 needs kind of like a resurgence. You don't find many emotional candidates, but you're going to find 3 emotional candidates with us. We take things personally because we're passionate, and I hate when people say don't take it personally, just move on. But if you're trying to help your constituents, you have no other alternative but to take that personally, because you you want to help them. You want to help you want to help out your constituency. So that's why I think that DeSilvio, Gonzalez, and Clark would be the best fit for Legislative District 4.
Thank you. Denise, anything
Well,
to add?
What was the question again? Because
Why is the LD4 race important in New Jersey?
the LD4 race is important in New Jersey is because LD4 right now is basically ground zero right now for South Jersey to basically from Trenton on down to basically flip to Republican, and then we will have literally a whole South Jersey contingency of legislators that are for medical freedom. I think that literally LD4 is like left. All that's left right now to actually turn all of South Jersey into a medical freedom protective hotbed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It literally is important from District 1 all the way up until 4. And then the following cycle, hopefully we'll topple 5 and 6 and hopefully the whole state, little by little, year by year.
I mean, so as a mom who had her spreadsheet and was calling and was monitoring who's on health committee, who's voting which way, and who did I call, who did I not call, who did I email, send it to all my friends, send it to my family, even the ones who don't care. As that mom, when I'm looking, I'm like, LD4 on health committee, voted yes, wants to take away my kids' rights, like big X, wrote him in red, highlighted him in red, like went all out. So that when I see like, when someone says it, that's what it triggers to me. Where was he on my spreadsheet?
Now that I remember, Assemblywoman Mascara, our Democrat, incumbent, she actually sat on women and children's, I believe, and I believe education. So for the past 13 to 15 years, we have literally been, she's fairly new, but we have literally been fighting with her probably for a good 6 years on these committees, as well with like Pamela Lampett and Senator Singleton. A lot of these legislators just refuse to listen to us. And now that I remember now, and I believe Madden sits on a key committee right now. I can't remember vaguely, and he's another one that needs to be taken out. Madden, Mascara, they need to go, and that's they have always voted against us and have always put our religious exemption under the gun, has always threatened to take it away and expunge it, right down to taking away our exemption under New Jersey's code. So that was a lot of the reasons why, but since they blocked us out of having any meetings with them and they wouldn't take our calls anymore at some point, that was like 2 or 3 years ago, they literally stopped communicating with the entire medical freedom movement, all the mama bears and papa bears. And that's what prompted me to like, you know what, I'm just going to throw my hat into the ring and literally take a seat.
If you don't take the call from the Senate office, we'll just change the number to us.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, LD4 is the pathway. Literally, we're going to have it on lockdown. We're gonna win it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hearing that actually for the past, I would say, year or so. So it's great to know that we'll have health freedom people in instead of people who push the yes button to remove kids' rights.
That's right.
Sometimes lessons aren't learned.
Well, they're going to learn it the hard way and the painful way.
Like LD3 did.
That's right.
So why are you the best candidate team for the primary race?
Do you want me to answer that, or do you want Nick to?
Whoever wants to take it.
I think that I am, and my colleagues are the best for this for these seats. Is because of our medical freedom experience. We literally have, I think, combined probably 3 decades if you count up all the years between like the three of us, except for Michael. He's only 24. But we have a lot of knowledge and experience within this movement. We've attended board of education meetings, especially Nick. Nick was a member. This was what prompted him to get into politics. Literally, he was on the board of education in Franklinville. literally to protect our rights, protect our medical freedom, our parental rights, our religious exemption. I mean, he's very experienced in this area. I do through unfortunate ways, through my injuries, through my daughter's injuries, personal experiences, sometimes tragedies, what has pulled so many of us into this. Our injuries, even deaths, unfortunately. We've had to learn, and we've had to learn the hard way, unfortunately. So that's pretty much it for me. So I just look forward to June being over and charging forward to November. So
Thank you. Nick, anything to add?
Well, I was just going to reiterate what Denise said, and I I thank you for giving me some props there, Denise. But I don't think that you're honestly the reason why I think that we're probably the best candidates in the primary race is because you're not going to find better advocates most in any district than what you have here for medical freedom. This is your lineup. Yeah. So all you have to do is just give us a call and we'll answer. And we'll be listening. So you're not going to find better advocates in the state than you do right here. So
thank you. So have you guys reviewed the DOH proposed expansion of the mandated vaccines for school entry that came out in May from the health department?
Is that the one that's forcing the COVID vaccinations on kids getting into school?
It wants it to match the ACIP recommendation. Yeah, so that's that same one. It was COVID, HPV, and flu.
Yeah.
So any thoughts on that?
Well, if I was a senator, I'd be voting no to that. So
it's tricky because it seems to want to bypass the legislature, by doing that.
Correct. I think one of Murphy's EOs has allowed things like that to circumvent the legislature. So the legislature is pretty much carved out, which is the people's voice. I think myself and my colleagues, including Nick, would probably basically rescind a lot of these EOs that are still in the way and still circumventing the actual legislative process that's supposed to be happening. Those are things that have to go. All these, we have, I think, well over 300 EOs still in effect from King Murphy. So those things have to go. Those are tyrant moves. Those are things that socialists do. You circumventing the legislature is bypassing the voice of the people, the vote of the people. So I believe that what we need to do first is get rid of those EOs. So that way we remove that kind of power from the Department of Health. They should not be making those calls at all whatsoever.
And now I have a follow-up question, because this came up last year. There was a bill to limit the governor's powers. New Jersey is one of the only states where the governor has this unilateral infinitive power forever. Where would you guys stand on a bill to do that?
I'm 100% behind that. I mean, the whole COVID fiasco was enough just for people to wake up and say, this guy, he just keeps on extending these COVID executive orders. I mean, will it ever end? And we could not bypass it at all. So yeah, I'm for it. I'm for limiting his powers, definitely.
Likewise, yeah. I'm with Nick on that. I would totally slap my name on a bill that would completely limit the gubernatorial powers regarding executive orders. It's abusive. It's tyrannical and abusive. Yeah.
And now that we actually see, before it was almost theoretical, now that we actually see it in play, I think more people understand why it's not a great thing to have in your New Jersey Constitution.
Right.
So talk to us about your health freedom, parental rights advocacy efforts and actions so far. Alphabetical, Denise.
Okay. Well, with me, as I stated before, I've been to Trenton many times, sometimes with babies in tow inside of carriers and strollers. I've testified in numerous committees. I believe health and senior human services. I've testified to protect our parental rights and against mandates. I've testified in education, which was obviously where Lampet and Mascara sat. I've testified sometimes when I couldn't testify and there were too many people. I went there anyway, just in support, and to basically very politely corner legislators to have like literally hallway meetings, telling them, explaining why they need to protect our rights, why they need to leave our exemption alone. That's what I've done. I've had meetings with legislators until they completely lock this out and block this out of meetings and calls. And at that point, that's at that point where I decided to. That was literally 4 years ago. I'm like, I'm just going to take a seat. I'm done. I'm not done with advocacy. I just felt at that point it was time to take my advocacy and throw it into the political arena, and fight it that way, fight them that way by literally taking seats away from these tyrants.
Thank you. Mike, you're back. We had a lot of questions. Anything you want to add? Why reason for running? How did health freedom come onto your radar? Why
Sure.
is the LD4 race important?
Yeah, so I'm trying to connect. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
What are we going to do about the connection in LD4?
Yeah, seriously. So thankfully, I'm outside of LD4 at the moment, so that's what we can blame it on. But no, I'm sure my running mates communicated well. But since I didn't hear it, I'll give a little bit of, again, my reasoning for running. I mentioned it in my introduction, being a youth pastor and working with teenagers and wanting to extend my ministry to young people into government. And we do have, government has an important role in protecting rights. And sadly, the government at times wants to overstep and wants to then take away those rights. And that's what we need to defend against. And I've had a lot of people tell me like, oh, you always talk about defending families and children, but what does that mean? And really what it means for me is protecting their rights, not allowing the government to come in and mandate things for them that are ultimately a parent's decision to make. And so letting parents parent without government interference. That's a big thing. Why is this race important? Well, when you look at the legislator, there is a possibility of Republicans taking control. And LD4 is a district that is needed in order for Republicans to take control. And I believe it's going to be a district that will flip red. And so it's an important race because we need to gain as many seats as possible so that we can fight in the majority and so that we can actually get things accomplished in Trenton. The Democrats have accomplished very little, in my opinion, in their tenure in the majority. And so it's time to bring people to Trenton who are actually going to get things done for the regular citizens, for the moms, the dads, the parents, the normal people who live in New Jersey. And that's really who I fight for. And as you heard Nick talk about, that's his motivation for politics, is family. And Denise, the same way. It is a very common group of candidates here that you have in LD4, but I think that's exactly what New Jersey needs. Just regular people fighting for the needs of other regular people, trying to do what's best for people of our state.
Thank you so much, Mike. We look forward to flipping to a health freedom friendly candidate district. I'm going to pass to Katie for fun questions.
Oh yeah, this is the fun round. So whoever has functioning connection can answer these questions. Hopefully all of us do. So the first question is, what was the last meal you ate? Nick, I'll start with you.
I had a steak and a salad.
Yum.
Yeah.
Michael?
A nice sirloin cut too. It was good. Yeah.
I'm going to try to keep my camera on. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like have like a carb friendly meal. So, you know, I usually eat a steak with like a baked potato with sour cream and butter, but I've been trying to cut that out. So unfortunately, you know,
Yeah, I hear you.
I had to double up on the salad, you know. So
Yeah, that's all good stuff.
yeah.
Vegan salad. I like it.
All right.
Michael, I think with your audio we get you better, even though we do want to see your face.
Let's try it. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, good. So my last meal was lunch. I'm gonna go eat dinner after this, hopefully. And I had a typical Jersey meal. I had Wawa hoagie. So the classic Jersey had apple slices instead of a bag of chips. So
Oh, there you go. Like true health freedom.
Yeah.
Health at its finest. He tossed the chips and went for the apple. I love it. Okay, and Denise, tell us.
I
What was your
had
last meal?
for lunch, actually, my last meal was leftover Mexicans. I had fajitas.
Ooh.
Fajitas with refried beans and rice. That was lunch.
That sounds awesome and flavorful, just
Yes.
like we like our candidates to be and our elected officials to be. All right, so guys, what's the next book on your list of books to read? What's the next book you want to read?
You're muted, Nick.
Did you say the next book?
Yeah.
I've actually been reading the Killing series with Bill O'Reilly's books. You know, like Killing Lincoln, Killing Kennedy, Killing Jesus. I'd like to get the newest one called Killing the Witches.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Does that go back to like the Salem witch trials kind of thing?
Yeah, it's kind of like when he's writing about like actual occurrences that happened before these people died, like
Okay.
you know, conversations, who was involved, at what level. So it's kind of interesting, you know. Killing Lincoln was really good. Yeah, so there was a lot of kind of reminds me of what's going on in politics today. There was a lot of backroom deals going on with Lincoln.
Sure. Always, I feel like,
Yeah.
throughout history. Thank you.
Right. No, you're welcome.
There's one book that I have been told to read, and I have really. It's actually not that easy to find. It's actually quite small, and I found it one time before COVID lockdown, and it was very, very hard to find, and it was the Federalist Papers. It's not necessarily a book, but it's a collection of writings from our forefathers, and it talks about like the things that they're discussed. Sorry, it basically talks about the each of our founding fathers basically talk about they discuss different aspects of the times when they were writing our Constitution, their fears or hopes, things that they wanted to add into the Constitution, things that they wanted to exclude. They talked about their debates, their arguments, and it's actually really, really fascinating to just know what they were thinking at the time, and it's a revelation of that period too. So that's real. I think everybody should get it and actually should read it and just get a grounding as far as like you can actually see that these people were human. You know, they were making mistakes. They were fighting amongst each other. What their thoughts were. And they what their foresight into the future and things that were important that needed to be added to protect our rights going into the future. So I think that's a fascinating one. I read some of it, so I have to go and find it again to read it again. So
Got it. So that's next on your list.
Mhm.
Hopefully when you have a little bit more time in your schedule, I'm sure.
Yes.
Michael, what's the next book you're eyeing to read?
Sure. So I actually have always enjoyed reading when it fits in my schedule. And being a youth pastor, a lot of the books that I read and have read are leadership books. So the next one for me, it's called Authentic Leadership, and basically it's just the idea of being real, being transparent, but also how to lead effectively. And that's something that I can use obviously as a youth pastor, but we need authentic and transparent leaders in government as well. So that's something that I'm hoping to get to right after we win this primary.
That's awesome. Thank you. I'm going to stick with you for the next. We'll go background. The next question is, what's your favorite show or series?
Is this for me?
Yeah.
Sorry. Favorite show? Probably Hawaii Five-0. I'm a big fan of like the police, the newer version too. I don't know. I always see there's like an old version of it. I've never seen the old version, but the one that's been out recently, always loved it. Seen every episode and like to rewatch some of them too.
Awesome. All right, Denise.
I know that you probably think I'm crazy, but I don't watch TV. I when I do, I get very antsy. I don't have anything special when I do actually sit down. I know that's weird, right?
No, I
No.
love
I,
the answer.
I sometimes sit there at, in my living room and I have a TV and it's connected, to cable and wirelessly to my Fire Stick, and I can sit there for hours doing work without even turning it on.
Yeah.
I know I'm probably a weirdo like that.
No.
You're probably a lot mentally healthier than the rest of us.
Yeah.
I never turn on my TV. People talk about like this show, that show. You need to watch this. You need to. I'm like, I don't have any desire to hit the power button and turn on the TV and watch something. I know.
Yeah.
I'm strange.
Well, that answer is just as telling as any of the other answers or any other shows that, it tells you something about a person when they're just like, I'm not interested in TV. I got, other things to do. All right. And Nick.
Okay, I'm unmuted. See, there's so many series that I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I used to be like a movie junkie, and I used to love the HBO series. I used to love The Sopranos and The Wire on HBO. I used to love Breaking Bad. That was one of my favorites. And I guess the most recent one is probably Yellowstone right now is my favorite one. And they have like two offshoots of the show, 1883 and 1923. They're both good as well. So I don't know if I can pick a favorite. Me and my wife just got done watching The Diplomat on Netflix, and that was really good. So,
you've given us a lot to work with. So thank you. And I'm gonna stay with you, Nick, for the next question. This is simple. How do you take your coffee? And maybe you don't drink coffee. I don't know.
No. Unfortunately, I need coffee in the morning. I need it. So, I drink it with a little cream. I'm trying to work my way into drinking black coffee because people tell me that's, you could actually taste the difference, in the bean, but I just need caffeine. So, I used to drink it with sugar. I cut the sugar out. Now I just drink it with cream. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Denise, back to you. You're muted.
Got it. All right. I like my coffee light and sweet. I think it's like a Hispanic thing. We automatically put when you order a coffee, like in Miami or anything like that, they automatically put cream and sugar, like it's already sweetened and ready to go. So it's just a cultural thing. I like my coffee light and sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michael, do you drink coffee? Or do you drink like a mushroom coffee or something?
Chaga
Right.
for the brain.
I mean, he's eating the apple chips instead of the potato chips, so you never know. But I think we lost him. Maybe he's on a coffee run. So while we're waiting, I don't know, Michael, are you here or are we still? Nope. All right, maybe he'll hop back in. And then the last question, guys, of this quick fire question round is, what's the last concert you attended? And Denise, I'll start with you.
Oh, Zach Brown Band. That was, I believe it was last year. And no, Willie Nelson. It was Willie Nelson and Zach Brown Band together. Willie Nelson was the opener. It was amazing. It was at the BB&T Center in Camden. Awesome. Totally, highly recommend it.
Awesome. And Nick?
The last concert was probably Elton John.
Ooh.
That was like 2 years ago. But
His seventh farewell tour?
Yeah, that was just like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was actually kind of sad because I'm like, this is his farewell tour. It was kind of like, a little emotional. And then he had like a second one. I'm like, what's going on here?
A Middle Eastern goodbye. You say it for like an hour 5 times.
That's true. Yeah. So, but I've actually seen Zach Brown as well at the BBT Center. But that was like about 3 years ago, I think. So it wasn't last year. So they must go there a lot. But yeah, the last one I saw was Elton John.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Mike, if we have you back, if you can tell us how you take your coffee or other warm beverage in the morning, and what was your last concert attended?
Sure. So I do occasionally drink coffee, but at 24, I more am into drinking like energy drinks as opposed to coffee. I'll drink coffee at times. When I do, I drink it cream and Splenda because I'm type 1 diabetic, so I don't do any sugar. So cream and Splenda or cream and stevia, naturalist sweetener is the better option. But I'm more of an energy drink guy, sadly. And I know I'm probably going to have people tell me how terrible it is for me. But that's more of the road that I go down. Concert-wise, that's an interesting question. As a youth pastor, I've been to some Christian concerts, but that's it. So I have some friends who sing more down south and sing in a genre called Southern Gospel. And so I'll go and hear some of them. I honestly couldn't tell you what the last one was. I've sang in a few concerts at churches. Our family travels and sings. So I think that probably is the most recent one, was me up on the platform singing at a church. But I can't remember where it was at.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, on that note, we're going to ask you to sing tonight. I'm just kidding.
No, you don't want that, I promise.
But if you get elected, will you come back on a PAC chat and sing for us?
Not alone. Maybe I can bring my brother, who's a lot better than me.
Fair enough. As long as you're not dragging me to sing with you, we're good.
Me, Nick, and Denise, maybe. We'll put something together.
I have to say they're phenomenal. They can really sing. They harmonize well. It's incredible.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. All right, guys, thanks so much for playing along with that fun little round. We try to do that because we think it's a good way of kind of shifting from business to, guess what? These are real people. They're humans, and they're interesting. And let's open up that doorway and hear a little bit about them. So thank you for sharing that with our viewers. And we're going to go into the last question of the evening. So this is an opportunity for you to answer this important question, which is, how will you strengthen health freedom in the state of New Jersey once you are elected? And Michael, we'll start with you. If Michael's not there, or maybe I have to unmute him, I don't know. We'll kick it over to Denise. Again, how will you strengthen health freedom in the state of New Jersey once you're elected? Oops. Denise, we can't hear you.
She said she lost sound.
Okay. So guess what, Nick? We're going to kick it off with you. Oh, wait, let's unmute you.
Okay. So the question is, how will I
Strengthen health freedom in the state of New Jersey once you are elected? How are you going to make us a stronger state for health freedom?
Well, first and foremost is I am going to start with, taking advice from individuals that are involved with the health freedom movement, which is yourself. And if anything comes down the road that doesn't sound kosher, you can count on my vote that I will not vote for it. So that's part of the reason why we're having this conversation here, because I think that that's important that we maintain our religious exemptions and we make it we maintain our medical freedom for every individual in the state. So the only thing I could do is just assure you that you will have a serious advocate in this movement when I'm elected as senator. And my phone and door will be open anytime. So, thank you.
Thanks, Nick. And Denise, we can go to you if your sound is working. So the question is once you're elected, what are you going to do to help strengthen the state in terms of health freedom?
I think New Jersey needs to be modeled after Florida's parental rights bill. I think we definitely need the same thing. I know a few of them were introduced, I believe, by other legislators. They either need to be reintroduced or and or rewritten and brought up to committee and voted through. Hopefully, if we have a majority at that point, we can push that through. We definitely need a parental bill of rights, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. And Michael, what are your thoughts on how you will strengthen health freedom in our state once you are elected?
Sure. So for me, similar to what Nick was saying, Nick and Denise both, they're right on. We need new legislation, and we need people in Trenton who will oppose any legislation that will infringe upon parental rights and medical freedom. And so for me, as a 24-year-old, I can speak for myself, but I also want to be someone who parents can come to and can speak very plainly and give their opinions. And I want to be someone that is there listening to them and then taking their concerns and making them happen. And there's a lot of good people in Trenton in the Republican side, but there's also a lot of people in Trenton who are there and not for the right reasons. And so I want to be someone who will absolutely oppose any bill that attacks our medical freedom. I want to help introduce and sponsor bills to protect those rights. And I want to be someone where parents can come to and individuals can come to and feel that they can speak freely and that their voices will be heard.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're good. So before we let you guys run, it's late, it's Friday, and we've had some technical issues. So thank you for hanging out with us. But we want to just ask you if you have any final words to share with us or our viewers, and you can include how people can help support you and any other comments or words that you may have. This is your opportunity to take the floor. So again, we'll go round robin and we can begin with Michael.
Sure. So like I said, this is my first time running for office. I was slated with Denise and Nick, and I think we make a great team. I really do. If you look at the track record of both of them, Nick and Denise. It is a life of service. And obviously, me being 24, I'm trying to develop that same track record. Having been a youth pastor now for a few years and things like that, our mission is aligned. All three of us. It's service. Both of my running mates in the military, both advocates for parental freedom. Nick, an advocate in elected positions already. And so when you go to vote, obviously primaries are sometimes hostile, but I want people to understand that the motivation behind this ticket is not any ego. It's not any building a name for ourselves. It is three people who are living a life of service, wanting to better the state that they love and the state that they live in, so that future generations can stay here, so that they don't feel that they need to move out. And so I think Nick leading at the top of the ticket, and Denise, as many of you know very well, and myself, that's what we're here to do. We're here to serve the people. We're not here for ourselves. We're not here for any other motive other than to do what is best for the residents of New Jersey. That we will.
Thank you. All right, Denise?
One more time. Can you
Sure.
repeat the question?
Yeah, this is actually just an open-ended question. It's final words. So we're so grateful that you're here, and like any way that you can you hear me? No. So we'll wait for her because I have a feeling she'll come back. And Nick, we're going to go to you. And this is really just the final words. You know, this is a thank you. And hey, if there's anything you want to share with our viewers before we prepare to close down the chat, please, this is your time to do so.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to us tonight. If you want to continue on with the conversation, if you have any questions whatsoever, my phone is always open. Okay. I always give my phone number out. I get warned about that, but I don't care because my job here is to help you. Okay. And when elected, it's going to be the same thing. So my number is 856-534-4647. Okay. Text, call, doesn't matter. If you have a simple question, go ahead and just give me a call. And I think for those of you listening, and for those of you who live in Legislative District 4, you're not going to find a better team that supports this cause. You're not going to find a better one. So God bless you, and thank you for having me on. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Nick. And Denise, if we have your audio kinks worked out, again, this is just opening up for final words. Any final words you have in any way that our viewers can help support you?
First off, I want to take the time first to thank all of you, all the board members from PAC, and we're honored to have this endorsement. By the way, it means a lot to us, and it means a lot, believe it or not, to the greater constituency of our area, because you know everyone is concerned about protecting their medical freedom and their parental rights. So we're honored. Thank you so much for this endorsement. And that's pretty much it. If anyone wants to reach us, you can find us on Facebook. It's DeSilvio Gonzalez Clark, True Conservatives. We actually have individual pages as well. I have my individual page, which is Denise Gonzalez for New Jersey Assembly, and Michael Clark has his page, which is Michael Clark for New Jersey Assembly. And that's pretty much it. Please come find us. Please comment on our posts. Please send us messages. You know, our doors are open. Our virtual doors are open for anyone who wants to reach us. And we're here for you. And we're ready to serve. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Oh, Laura, you're on mute.
Sorry. So thank you, Denise, Michael, and Nick. On behalf of myself and the board of directors at NJPHIPAC, we want to thank you for sharing your thoughts with us and our viewers with regard to health freedom and parental rights. We congratulate you again on your NJPHIPAC official endorsement in the 2023 primary race. We wish you the best of luck in your races and hope to have you on once again as we get closer to the general election.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so there you have it, folks. That's NJPHIPAC's up close and personal endorsement of District 4. We hope it is clear by now why NJPHIPAC has decided to endorse this team in the upcoming primary election on June 6th. If you reside in District 4 or if you have friends and family that do, please spread the word of how important it is to support this election. It is not only advantageous, but imperative to have strong representation in Trenton. And these are people like us. These are people who were in Trenton with us in 2019, 2020. So our future and our children's future depends on affecting elections like this in the state. We mentioned earlier that the success of the PAC relies on contributions from individuals like you. And being a grassroots organization, we are by the people and for the people. Unlike pharmaceutical giants who have millions at their disposal, the PAC's efforts is a show of people, not just dollars. What we have is a movement of thousands whose passion to preserve our rights cannot be bought or contained. And in the eyes of the legislators, contributions, every contribution that we take in, it equals voters. That's what they see. And that is a currency that money cannot buy. So every donor contribution to the PAC shows the legislators that we are a voting bloc and that our concerns should be taken seriously. So please consider becoming a PAC contributor. Please visit our website at www.njphipac.org and make a contribution today. No amount is too small. Thank you again for joining us this evening, and we'll see you next time on the PAC Chat.